Hello everybody, welcome back to High Ground. My name is Tanner, and today we're going to be doing predictions for NAL day number 3. So we're entering the second half of this phase of the stage. There's still a little bit of a bracket to be played through that will be set up by the results of playdays 3 and 4. So, right, we're going to talk about playday number 2 before we get into the prediction for playday 3. I think I'm on 8 out of 14 for predictions, which isn't terrible, but there have been a few surprising results. I think particularly Beast Coast getting the wins that they did. I really brought my prediction right down. But I think honestly playing these online best of ones and I'm making the predictions all ahead of time before seeing any of the results for the day, before seeing any of the maps, I think it's still a reasonable number to be at. Also, follow me on Twitter. I just changed my @ there. Maybe I'll change it again in the future. Unfortunately, High Ground Tanner is 16 characters. It's too long, so it's just HG Tanner. So follow me there. Maybe I'll tweet a little bit more often. I don't tweet a ton there, but I do need a little bit more clout so that when I at the Rainbow Six Esports NA Twitter to post a graphic, please, I'm begging you that maybe they'll actually do it, because for some reason they only feel like doing it a few hours before the games actually start instead of like the day before, which is when I'm recording it, and we are, I think, like 24 hours away from the game, so maybe they'll do it later today. But anyways, go follow me on Twitter there, HG Tanner. Okay, so first game of the previous day, Sonics versus Beast Coast. A little bit of an upset here. Sonics not looking great overall this so far through the stage. Still 4 more games to be played for them, so they can bounce back. But on the other hand, Beast Coast looking decent. I wouldn't say they played phenomenally well this game. Sonics played kind of bad, but still beating Sonics is no easy feat. Good on them there. So of course that's one of the ones I got wrong. M80 defeats Mirage 7-3. No real surprise there. Sonics beat Parabellum 7-3. Maybe based on the results of some of the previous games, you might have thought Parabellum would win, or at least come closer to winning. But I think this was pretty well an expected result, despite this game in particular and Parabellum's win over Oxygen. Then we have Oxygen taking down M80 7-5. I predicted that one right. That was another sort of 50-50 one, and as you can see, pretty close game. Came down to max regulation, but no overtime. Beast Coast beat Space Station. Another kind of shocker there, and again, maybe made a little bit more likely by the fact that Beast Coast won here. But this is actually Space Station's first loss, and if they'd won this in round 15, they would have 3 round 15 wins in a row. And then Oxygen take down Dark Zero. I get this one wrong, so the 3 I got wrong in the day were the 2 Beast Coast games, and then this one. And it looks a bit silly in hindsight. They got kind of smashed. I think I probably would have predicted Oxygen after seeing them play against M80, but that's what I get for doing it all in advance. And 7-2 is tied for the most decisive game this stage, along with the Dark Zero over Mirage win. And then finally, Space Station takes down Parabellum to finally get a regulation win, and putting Parabellum on 1-3 in not quite dead last. Mirage is actually in last place, but Parabellum in 7th place, so second to last. Okay, so that sets us up for the third playday, which is tomorrow. So Beast Coast versus Parabellum. This is going to be the first match between any of these bottom teams, quote unquote bottom teams, in Beast Coast, Parabellum, and Mirage. Technically, Sonics is below Beast Coast on the standings, but still, I don't think we're in a position to be calling Beast Coast a better team than Sonics, even as a result of that fact and the fact that Beast Coast won the head-to-head. But still, I'm going to chalk it up mostly to Sonics playing kind of bad in a best of one, and maybe Cafe was a questionable choice. I don't know why they opted for it. They thought they could win. Maybe they're just, I don't know, whatever. Don't want to get too speculative here. I'm going to go with Beast Coast here, and I think this is the safer prediction. Parabellum does have 1 win. Beast Coast has 2 wins, putting Beast Coast, I guess, on 5 points because they won in overtime. And Parabellum has the 1 regulation win. They beat Oxygen. Beast Coast beat Sonics and Space Station. And I don't know, I guess the 1 Parabellum win feels like more of a fluke because they have 3 other regulation losses. Beast Coast is 2-1, and even if you think Oxygen is currently a better team than Space Station and Sonics, again, Parabellum has lost to 3 other teams, and none of them were particularly close. So I guess I'll give the nod to Beast Coast here. I wouldn't be massively surprised to see Parabellum win, but that's what I'm going to go with there. M80 versus Sonics. So I think we're going to have a lot of tough calls on the day. I expect Sonics to bounce back at some point. They're just such a talented roster. We'll see if they can really pull it together as a team. We haven't really seen them do that just yet. And on the other hand, I'd probably easily go with M80 if they'd been a little bit better. Sonics definitely worse than M80 so far this stage, but M80 not living up to expectations really either. I think I'm still going to opt for them. They feel like the safer bet. If one team is closer to their full potential, it's probably M80, and Sonics are going to need a more massive improvement, and it's just 1 week, although 1 week is much more time than 1 day, which is the time between playdays 1 and 2. But anyways, I'll go with M80. Again, it just feels like the safer prediction based on what's happened so far. Oxygen versus Mirage, an easy one. Everyone's going to go with Oxygen. This is the #1 team in the standings versus the last place team in the standings, so not really much to talk about there. I wouldn't be super surprised to see Mirage put up a better fight than they did. All the teams that just were thrown together were very, very new, didn't have a lot of practice time. Another week could make a pretty massive difference, but still, I'm going to go with Oxygen taking the win there. M80 versus Space Station, another hard one to call. This is the 2nd and 3rd place team on the standing, I believe, with Space Station on 8 points, M80 on 7 points. I think yeah, okay, so and both of them having played 4 games. So Space Station is 3-1, M80 is 2-2. Space Station could be 1-3 though. They won 2 of their games in round 15, so cutting it very, very close. And I feel like M80 should be a little bit better on paper in the sense that their team wasn't changed as much. Yes, they did change out 2 players, and Space Station technically changed out 3 players, but it's also 2 players from 2 different teams, so it was a little bit more pre-built, and then Merc sort of the odd man out. I think this is a really tough one to call, and I think M80 is probably the favorite here. Maybe not massively, even though I think that's weird to say with Space Station being above them on the standings. It is just 1 point. I'm going to go with Space Station here. I don't know, maybe just a little bit of a gut call, maybe a little bit of a biased call, because I know who I'll be rooting for. But I think I'll just go with them. It's close to a 50-50. I hate to keep bringing it up over and over and over. It's best of ones. Anyone can win, even if you're not necessarily the better team. Even though, again, these teams are probably fairly evenly matched. Dark Zero versus Sonics. So also a really tough one to call. So Dark Zero were the top team coming into the 2nd day, but then they suffered that pretty heavy loss to Oxygen, and Sonics, again, not really living up to their potential just yet. Dark Zero really has been pulled over the line. They've been led to their wins by NJR pretty heavily. We've seen 1 or 2 good games from Pambazoo, from Gaveni, no good games from Achieved, and I think maybe like 1 good game from Canadian. Some other players have had good games, but NJR either a decent or monstrous performance in all of their games. The rest of the players probably need to step up, but I guess Sonics need to step up as a whole. Grixer was really the monster for Sonics, but not in every game like NJR. He just had 1 game where he dropped like 18. I guess, I don't know, is Sonics, I guess, a little bit of a contrarian call? They're not even that far behind. Yeah, they're 1 point behind them on the standings, 5 points versus 4 points. They both played 3, and just 1 overtime loss for Sonics, whereas Dark Zero has 1 overtime win. They're both +1 on round differential. It was a round 15 loss for Sonics. Like, they could have beaten Space Station and been on identical points with Dark Zero, but better round differential. I guess I'm going to go with Sonics here. Again, I just feel like their roster is better on paper, and again, maybe we've seen more struggles from Sonics as a team, but I do think Dark Zero has given us reason to be concerned with how reliant they have been on NJR so far. So yeah, I guess I'll opt for Sonics here. Beast Coast versus Mirage, so another pairing of the bottom teams. Beast Coast, if they are going, if they can beat the other bottom teams, they've already beat some of the quote-unquote top teams. This could put them in a really, really good position. If they win both these games, I mean, there's no way they're getting bottom 2, right? It's going to be like Mirage and Parabellum, almost assuredly, unless something weird happens. But again, I guess I'll go with Beast Coast. Just they've proven that they can get wins. Mirage has not proven that they can get wins. I think in a sense they kind of have, because they should have won against Space Station and they choked, and maybe that proves that they really, really can't get wins. But they were in a very winning position that they shouldn't have let slip. They were up 6-3. But I guess I'll give it to Beast Coast. I think going forward, yeah, if we see Mr. B and Hat continue to play very well and consistently well, and then we see Doc, Hyper, and or Vertical, like 1 or 2 of them step up, Beast Coast could really be a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, if there's any place to do it, it's against Mirage and Parabellum. I'll go with Beast Coast, yeah. Dark Zero versus Space Station to close it out. This is a sort of classic one, a few stages back. Maybe, I don't remember, was that in 2021 or 2022? They played each other to go to a major, right? The winner of the game would go to the major. Dark Zero ended up winning it, and it was a bit of a heartbreaker, the very last game of that particular stage. And yeah, I think Space Station, the better team at the moment. Maybe not super clearly. Again, if we look at it, they're not that far apart. Dark Zero is 3 points behind, but they played 1 fewer game. So if they happen to win their game against who was it, Sonics, right? Yeah, if they win their game against Sonics in regulation, they'll be tied with Space Station. They'll both be on 8 points, and then the winner of of this matchup will definitely be above the other one, and also in a very, very solid position to make top 2 or at least guarantee top 6, whatever. I guess I'm still gonna go Space Station here. I think Dark Zero, they could beat Sonics, they could beat Space Station for sure, but we need to see pretty much everyone backing up NJR, and particularly we need to do something. He's yet to get higher than a 0.5 KD, and in 1 or 2 of the matches it didn't matter, but in the other 1 or 2 of those matches it probably did matter. And again against Oxygen, they got crushed so hard. Even if Achieve got a few more kills, I can't imagine they would have it would have turned the tables and caused them to win or anything. So yeah, I think SSG is just sort of looking like a stronger team. And I think maybe surprisingly so. Yeah, really good players, but it felt like they should have needed a little bit more time to figure things out. But no, it seemed like they've gotten a grasp over things, even though, yeah, going to round 15 3 times is a little bit concerning. I'll give the nod to Space Agent here. Because, well, I mean, simply I have to pick one team. So, right, that's going to do it for these predictions. I'll go through it one more time. I have Beast Coast over Parabellum. I think I said M80, right? But I'll put Sonics on the screen if I said Sonics. My bad for forgetting. Oxygen over Mirage. Space Station over M80. Sonics over Dark Zero. Beast Coast over Mirage. And Space Station over Dark Zero. So yeah, it's gonna do it. Do follow me on Twitter if you'd like to. Even if you wouldn't like to, I'd like if you did it, so you could do it for that reason. A like and a subscription would be appreciated here on YouTube. Leave me a comment about anything in the whole wide world. I'll probably respond unless you type some absolutely abhorrent stuff. And yeah, with all that being said, catch you guys in the next video.